The bad habits that you're doing right now, if you were to write them down on a sheet of paper and embrace them and take them in as they were, you need to understand that you have to be willing to sacrifice them. The reason you should be able to sacrifice them is because the person who's able to sacrifice them is the person that's going to be able to beat you, the person that's going to do better than you, and you need to do better than that person. That is your competition. That other person is the other version of you, the version of you that doesn't do the bad habits, the version of you that did do the good habits. You want to be that version, right? So be willing to sacrifice whatever it is that you're doing that's negative to push yourself forward towards your goals. By the way, bro, if you're new, my name is Vanch, and I'm really glad that this video is made it onto your feed or your For You page, because it means that you're not like everyone else. It means that you're different. It means you're actually trying to improve yourself, and you're not willing to watch low dopamine content, and you're willing to actually watch long format content that is able to help you and educate you to move forward. I upload 2 to 3 videos a day where I talk about bad habits and good habits that you need to do, bad habits you need to avoid, and lessons and teachings for self-improvement to help you push yourself forward quicker than I push myself forward. And I want to see improvements in you, okay? I want to see an improvement in you guys. And I want to see you guys move forward. That's what I'm doing this for. So I want you to click down there on the subscribe and the post notifications so that you can see more videos like this, you can see more videos of me uploading, and you can apply the lessons that I upload 2 to 3 every day so you can have things to apply. Do it, it's a win-win for both of us, so I can get my dopamine spike that I have someone else to teach, and you can actually get the lessons and the improvement, the value that I'm providing. Do it now, win-win, both of us. It's easy to say that just cut off your bad habits, but genuinely, they never leave you. Bad habits that you've been doing and stacking up for years on end. Like, you've probably been jacking off for fucking 6 years. You've been playing video games for most of your life. And all these other bad habits I'm about to list to you, you've probably been doing them for a long time. And you can't just cut them off in a day. And when you do eventually stop doing them as much, they will eventually come back to you. So it's not that you cut them out completely. They won't be cut out completely. What's going to happen is that the amount that you do them reduces. So say you play video games 25 out of 31 days in a month. Yeah? Your time playing them will essentially reduce over time. It will become to 20 out of 30 days, to 15 out of 30 days, then 5 out of 30 days, and so on until you get like 1 out of 30 days where you're playing video games, and then eventually 1 out of 2 months, 1 out of 3 months, 1 out of 4 months, and then 1 out of the year that you might catch onto a video game. So the time frame reduces, right? That's essentially what happens. So you won't get rid of them. And I know this, right? Because when it came to quitting porn, there's been so many times where I've had the urge to just start jacking off. The urge doesn't go away. It's just that you become more equipped to deal with the urges. So you become a better outcome of dealing with the discipline and the efforts involved of pushing away those bad activities and becoming a better person. Right. The 5 habits that are genuinely ruining your life. You think that it's like some clickbait title, but no. These are genuinely going to stop you from being successful. So understand these and actually improve on them. Right? Number 1, mental edging or masturbation. I know the term is mental masturbation, but I don't really like to call it that. I like to call it mental edging because you're not really getting a finishing response, you know? Like, you're constantly telling yourself that you're doing something productive, but you're not. And the reason you can tell is that if you keep telling yourself you're being productive and you're doing the right things, but you're in the same place that you were 2 months ago, you've done nothing. And that's the problem, is that when you get stuck in this cycle of mental edging and saying, oh, look at me reading all these self-help books, look at me doing all this stuff, I'm better than 90% of the population, like, you're not. You know what actually is happening? 90% of the people of the population have your goals. Right? More attractive, more money, more friends, be a man. They have your goals. You have the same goals as them. And just because you read some self-help books on the side doesn't make you better than them. It doesn't put you in the top 1% just because you've read some books. You're still in the exact same place as them. You're still in the same exact place that you were 2 months ago. You haven't improved. So then you can't just say you're being productive, because then you get stuck in the same place for the rest of your life. You just convince yourself that you're doing something productive so you feel good about yourself, but you're not actually doing anything. Which is the problem. You don't want to get stuck in that cycle because you're not actually moving forward. You're stuck in the same place. Stasis. And there's only movement backwards. There's aging and suffering. So if you're not moving forward, you're always moving backwards. You can't stay in the same place. It's a problem with mental edging. You need to stop doing that. And the way you stop doing that is by actually doing the actions that you said you'd do. Listen to yourself. Your thoughts are giving you the action to do. You've read something. It's told you how to do something. It's told you a principle. It's told you a concept. Implement that principle or concept into your life. When I was reading the book How to Win Friends and Influence People, every time I read a principle, I read that book about 3 times now. Every time I read a principle, I would go through my day and apply it. And I know there's some of you that are still going to parties, still going out to clubbing. Why don't you use that? Even though that's a bad habit, why don't you use that into something productive? When it was during party season for, my year, while I was reading this book, I wouldn't actually find any joy from going to parties because I didn't drink. I would just talk to my friends. So I was thinking, how could I make that a better experience for me? And how could I make that productive for myself? I would read the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, and a concept from there, I would take it and I would do it at the party. I remember one very, very vividly, and it's the one principle where you're supposed to compliment others and genuinely mean it. And I remember going to a party and just complimenting everyone there. And everyone would compliment me back. And everyone was happy for me to be around. So it's just about taking the things that you're learning, if you do want to read these self-help books, and actually implementing them, doing the actions. Actions are going to push you forward. The sitting around, reading, and mentally edging yourself for no fucking particular reason isn't going to move you forward. So understand that and stop doing it. Do the actions instead. Okay? Bad habit 2. Bad habit 2 is lack of analysis. Right? It's a bit confusing as I say it, so I'll just explain it in like caveman ways. If you do something wrong, right? You fail at something, and you know that you failed at something. If you refuse to look over what you failed at again, and to find ways to solve your problems, then you won't move forward. It will just be another failure on your chin. When everyone says, take your failures and learn from them, it doesn't mean just take your failures, you know? You should actually be learning from them and find ways to improve the next time you do the thing. You need to analyze it. You need to analyze everything that you're doing. It's gotten to the point where every little thing I do that causes some sort of negative response, I will always think about it a bit more and see how I could have improved it. It could be on the way I said something. If I said something and I felt like I said it weirdly, I will think about that for the next 5 minutes to see how I could have said it better. I am constantly analysing. And you should too, because it will dramatically improve your life. It will stop you from making the same mistakes again. You have to tell yourself that whatever mistakes you make, you won't make them again. And that makes you an incredibly powerful person, because it means you have nothing to lose and you have everything to win. Okay? That kind of mindset, saying that, it must get you fucking excited. You have nothing to lose. You have the entire world to win. That's amazing. And it goes vice versa as well, right? If something positive happens, don't just throw it off. Don't be happy. Don't just take the dopamine spike and move on. Figure out why it happened. And if you figure out why it happened, then you can replicate that and do it again and again and again. And then eventually you move forward and you improve. That's how you make progress. So stop with this lack of analysis and think. Think about what it is that you're not doing. Think about the things that you are doing and how you can make them better, how you can use them to push you forward. Don't get stuck in the same place. Okay? Great. I need you to understand that, genuinely. Okay? Listen here. I need you to understand that concept. Analyze. Think. Okay? Good. Alright. Third. Bad habit 3. Doom scrolling. You may have heard the concept already. It's been thrown around quite a few times. Doom scrolling. It's essentially, I'll just go over like the brief concept of it. Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, or TikTok. When you click onto the app and you start going onto the Reels, YouTube Shorts, or TikToks, and you scroll, and you see, oh, I enjoyed this video, but nah. Scroll, 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 scroll. 2 hours have gone by. What have you done? You've completely wasted your one important asset, the one important thing you have in your day. Time. You've wasted it. Just like that. And all you've done in those 2 hours, moved your thumb up and down. Are you going to be happy with the kind of person you are after those 2 hours? You're going to be proud of yourself? Who would be proud of someone like that? You've done nothing. Avoid that. Avoid doom scrolling. Delete TikTok. Delete Instagram. Delete Snapchat. Don't have social media. Because it's just dragging you down. Use your time productively. What do you think what kind of person do you think you'd be if you spent those 2 hours watching a podcast or watching educational videos like this and made notes on it and actually applied the things I'm telling you? What do you think would happen? Would you be a better person? Yes. Yes, you would. So do it. Okay? There's so many downsides to you doom scrolling. Your attention span worsens. That's a really fucking important one, because it means that you can't focus, you can't be present. You won't be able to attract girls. Unless you want a fucking Western degenerate woman, you won't be able to attract someone who would be the mother of your children, because she will notice that you're not present. She will notice that you're not paying attention, and she will be less attracted to you. Your friends want to hang around you because they'll know that you're focused on something else. And you don't want that to be you. You don't want to be the one that people don't want to be around because you can't fucking focus. It's also a massive hit to your self-confidence. You think the person who scrolls on TikTok 2 to 6 hours a day is going to be a confident person? You think they're going to have anything to hold them up? They're going to be crippling every time you talk to them. You also develop this thing called the TikTok brain, which is kind of what the younger generation right now are developing, where they're just on TikTok constantly and they won't develop any sort of unique personality. It will just be TikTok. Their personality will be TikTok. And that is the most annoying, most brutal thing to see happen to a child. Because everyone has this unique story, this unique path that they go down. But TikTok destroys all of that. So we need to avoid it. Avoiding doom scrolling. Bad habit number 4 was your low dopamine, short-term gratification activities. Okay, we already kind of know this. If you've been watching my videos for a while, you kind of know that we need to avoid short-term gratification activities. You know that, right? And I'll just go into detail why. So if you're new and you're watching, you just started your self-improvement journey, I'll kind of explain why you need to avoid short-term gratification and what it actually is. So if you're doing something that will make you happy within a short time period, that is short-term gratification. So jacking off, or playing video games, right? Or eating junk food, that will give you a dopamine spike. And that is short-term gratification because you're getting gratified in the short term and it doesn't last forever. Okay? And what they do is essentially they lower your dopamine levels, your baseline, so you're eventually just sad 90% of the time. If you want to be happy a lot of the time, you need to avoid these low short-term gratification activities, because it will raise your dopamine levels, raise your baseline dopamine, and it means that you're going to be more productive, you're going to be more happy, you're going to be more confident, you're going to have this aura around you, you're more likely to become the masculine man that you want to be. And it's important, it genuinely is important, because essentially you won't be wasting your time. You won't be wasting your time. You'll be more confident. You'll be able to attract more girls, the girls that you want. You'll be able to attract good friends. You're going to be able to actually have conversations. Everyone's going to notice a change in you. They're going to notice that you've made a change, that you've become different, that you've grown. You need to cut these out. You cut these out, your improvement skyrockets. Remember, cut off the short-term gratification. And when you have the time after you've cut them out, replace it with long-term gratification. Watching a podcast, cold showers, doing the hard work. Okay? Simple. Cut out short-term gratification. Finally, number 5, your 5th bad habit. Not being able to speak. See, this is a weird one. And I'll kind of explain why I think so. So stuttering or not being able to articulate yourself. I think that's a really bad habit. And the reason for that is that if you're not able to communicate your thoughts to the person you're talking to, you can get misunderstood really, really easily. And when you get misunderstood, people can get annoyed at you. People won't understand you. People won't be willing to listen to you. And that's a big hit to your self-image. It's a big hit to who you think you are. It's a big hit to your self-confidence, to your authenticity. And getting those hit is going to demolish you as a person. If you're able to speak and articulate yourself, you can get people to listen to you. And if people listen to you, then you can speak what you want. You can be interesting. You can make more friends. You can attract the girl you want. And all of these fit together because if you can speak, you can tell stories. You can be genuine. You can be authentic. All these things come with being able to speak. And in general, all the upsides of being able to speak creates a positive self-image around you. They all amalgamate into positive emotion. So learn to speak. Avoid your ums, ahs. Take breaks between your words. And I understand why you don't want to take pauses. Because when you're in conversation and you've taken a pause to think, sometimes people butt into the conversation and then you're not able to think about the thing that they just said. Listen to everything that they're saying first. Let them finish what they have to say. And then pause. And then think. And then speak. And whenever an or ah comes up, it goes back to my other point about an analysis. Figure out where you do them, how often you do them, and when the and ah comes up in your speech, just pause. You do that enough times, you do that consistently enough times, you'll notice is that you'll end up pausing in your speech instead of ah, and you stop stuttering. And that's the way that you improve your confidence, improve the amount of people that listen to you. And that's how you turn yourself into the man that you want to be, the masculine man that you want to be. Okay? Good. So that's the 5 bad habits that you need to completely fucking avoid and cut out of your life so you can actually see some improvement and push yourself forward in your self-improvement journey. And if you made it to the end of the video, honestly, cut those bad habits out, man. I'm glad you watched to the end because it means you actually have the attention span of a man and you're able to watch this video. Cut those bad habits out because it will push you forward. You cut them out and start doing the good habits, good. Then you'll be able to move forward. Don't get stuck in the same place. Go get it. Mwah.